have finally found a chunk of Theia buried deep inside our moon. About 4.5 billion years ago, something the size of Mars collided with a newly formed Earth to a colossal effect. This object is not only thought to have fused with Earth and primed it for life, but it also broke off a large chunk that went into becoming the moon. This story is known as the giant impact hypothesis. The Mars-sized object is called Theia, and now, for the first time, scientists believe they've found traces of Theia in the moon. This also goes with what Zechariah Sitchin told us concerning the Sumerian tablets about Tiamat and something impacting our Earth and causing various things happening in our solar system. But anyway, this giant impact, they say, this hypothesis has been the favored model for explaining the formation of the moon for years. Quote, this model was capable of accounting for the then recent observations from samples returned by the Apollo missions, which included the moon's low iron content relative to Earth, depletions in volatiles, and enrichment in refractory elements, while avoiding most of the pitfalls of previous lunar origin theories, end quote. This is what the researchers of University of New Mexico wrote in their statements. But there was one big spanner stuck in the works. Models predicted that around 70 to 90% of the moon should have been made up of mooshed and reformed Theia. But oxygen isotopes in lunar samples collected by Apollo astronauts were very similar to terrestrial oxygen isotopes and very different from oxygen isotopes on other solar system objects. One possible explanation is that Earth and Theia had similar compositions to start with. Another is that everything got completely mixed during the impact, which according to simulations is not very likely. And in addition, the odds of Theia having a similar composition to Earth, as far as oxygen isotopes go, are actually extremely small, which means that if the moon is mostly Theia, its oxygen isotopes should be different from Earth's oxygen isotopes. This close similarity has been a major pain in the proverbial butt for the giant impactor hypothesis. Over the years, researchers have published several papers trying to explain this. That's where the idea that Theia fused with Earth originated. Another paper proposed that the impact created a cloud of dust that went on to become Earth and Moon. Another suggested that perhaps Theia and Earth formed really close to each other, and others have sought to rewrite the history entirely. Planetary scientist Eric Canio and colleagues went a different route, a careful reanalysis of the lunar samples. They acquired a range of samples from different rock types gathered on the moon, both high and low titanium basalts from the lunar Maria, anorthosites from the highlands, and norites from the depths, brought upward during a process called lunar mantle turnover, and volcanic glass. For the new analysis, the research team modified a standard isotope analysis technique to produce high-precision oxygen isotope measurements, and then they found something new indeed, that oxygen isotopic composition varied depending on the type of rock tested. And this is what they wrote in their paper. We show that the method of averaging together lunar isotope data while ignoring lithologic differences does not give an accurate picture of the differences between the Earth and the Moon. End quote. In fact, the deeper the rock sample origins, the researchers found, the heavier the oxygen isotopes compared to Earth's. This difference could be explained if only the outer surface of the moon was pulverized and mixed together during the impact, resulting in the similarity with Earth. But deep inside the moon, the Theia chunk remains relatively intact, and its oxygen isotopes were left closer to their original state. The study claims that this is a pretty neat bit of evidence showing that Theia could have formed farther out in our solar system and moved inwards before the big bada moon making boom. Okay, now importantly, these results could also clean up that messy problem with the giant impactor hypothesis. Quote, clearly, Theia's distinct oxygen isotope composition was not completely lost through homogenization during the giant impact. The research said, This result thereby eliminates the necessity for giant impact models to include a mechanism for complete oxygen isotope homogenization between two bodies and provides a foundation for future modeling of the impact and lunar formation. Humans have not set foot on the moon since 1972 for some really odd reason. That's my comment. Thus, precious moon rocks available for analysis are in short supply, and replicating these results may be a little tricky for now. However, within the next few years, we might finally see crewed missions execute a long-awaited return to the lunar surface and can hope for a real boom in moon science, including further research around the giant impact hypothesis. This was published on Nature Geoscience, and it's on Science Alert by Michael Starr. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.